Hello, and welcome to my channel. Relax, and get ready to listen to today's story. Now I'm going to tell you a story about one clear and cozy night in London, the capital of England. Emily Thompson stared at the blank page in front of her, her fingers hovering over the keyboard. The cursor blinked mockingly, a constant reminder of her creative block. She had been struggling to find inspiration for weeks, her once vibrant imagination now dulled by the weight of self-doubt. Desperate to break free from this suffocating rut, Emily made a bold decision. She would embark on a journey to London, a city known for its rich literary history and enchanting atmosphere. Perhaps the magic of this place would ignite the spark within her once more. With a sense of anticipation and trepidation, Emily boarded the plane bound for London. As the aircraft soared through the clouds, she couldn't help but feel a flicker of hope. Maybe, just maybe, this trip would be the catalyst she needed to breathe life back into her writing. The plane touched down at Heathrow Airport, and Emily stepped off with a mixture of excitement and nerves. She took a deep breath, inhaling the crisp London air, and let herself be carried along by the bustling crowd. The city seemed to hum with energy, its streets alive with the stories of countless writers who had walked its paths before her. Upon her arrival in London, Emily's excitement grew as she made her way through the bustling airport. She hailed a taxi and gave the driver the address of the bed and breakfast she had booked online. The journey took her through winding streets lined with picturesque houses, each one seemingly straight out of a storybook. Finally, the taxi pulled up in front of a charming bed and breakfast nestled in a quaint neighborhood. The building exuded an old-world charm, its brick facade adorned with ivy and flowers in full bloom. Emily paid the driver and stepped out onto the cobblestone path leading to the front door. As she entered, a warm, inviting atmosphere enveloped her. The innkeeper, Mrs. Jenkins, greeted her with a smile that reached her eyes. "Welcome to the Rosewood Inn, dear," Mrs. Jenkins said in a soft, melodic voice. "We've been expecting you." Emily felt an instant connection with the kind innkeeper. Mrs. Jenkins had an air of wisdom about her, as if she held the secrets of the universe within her gentle gaze. She led Emily to her room, a cozy space adorned with floral wallpaper and antique furniture. The room was bathed in soft, golden light streaming through lace curtains. A plush bed with embroidered pillows beckoned Emily to sink into its comfort. She couldn't help but feel a sense of serenity wash over her as she settled in. "Make yourself at home, dear," Mrs. Jenkins said, her voice filled with warmth. "If there's anything you need, don't hesitate to ask." Emily thanked her and watched as Mrs. Jenkins left the room, closing the door behind her. She took a moment to soak in the peaceful ambience of her surroundings. The soft crackle of the fireplace and the gentle ticking of an antique clock filled the air. It was the perfect place to find inspiration. Eager to explore the city, Emily wasted no time in venturing out into the bustling streets of London. It was the holiday season, and the city was adorned with twinkling lights and festive decorations. The air was crisp and carried a hint of snowfall, adding to the enchanting atmosphere. As Emily strolled through the crowded streets, she couldn't help but feel a sense of wonder and excitement building within her. The magic of London's holiday lights seemed to seep into her very being, igniting a spark of inspiration that had long lain dormant. She wandered through the famous shopping district of Oxford Street, marveling at the elaborate window displays and bustling shoppers. The aroma of roasted chestnuts wafted through the air, mingling with the sound of cheerful carolers and the laughter of children. The vibrant energy of the city filled Emily's senses, awakening her dormant imagination. She found herself captivated by the stories that seemed to dance in the air, waiting to be told. She knew that London held the key to unlocking her creativity once more. As she continued her exploration, Emily stumbled upon a small park tucked away from the bustling streets. It was a hidden oasis of tranquility amidst the chaos of the city. The park was adorned with strings of twinkling lights, casting a warm glow over the snow-covered ground. Emily found a bench and sat down, taking in the peaceful scene before her. The lights reflected in her eyes, sparking her imagination. She closed her eyes and let her mind wander, allowing the stories to take shape. After a day of exploring, Emily returned to the cozy bed and breakfast, her heart full of newfound inspiration. She kicked off her shoes and settled into her room, which boasted a crackling fireplace and a window overlooking the snow-covered street below. The room exuded warmth and tranquility, a haven from the bustling city outside. Emily curled up in an armchair by the fire, a cup of steaming tea cradled in her hands. The soft glow of candlelight danced on the walls, casting a mesmerizing spell over the room. The serene atmosphere fueled Emily's creativity. She opened her laptop and began to write, her fingers dancing across the keyboard with renewed vigor. Words flowed effortlessly onto the page, each sentence a brushstroke on the canvas of her imagination. The crackling of the fire provided a soothing soundtrack as Emily delved deeper into her story. She could almost hear the characters whispering their secrets, guiding her through their world. The flickering flames seemed to mirror the flicker of inspiration within her, growing brighter with each passing word. Time seemed to stand still as Emily lost herself in her writing. The outside world faded away, and she was transported to a realm of her own creation. The characters became real, their voices echoing in her mind. She wrote with a fervor she hadn't felt in years, the weight of self-doubt lifting from her shoulders with each passing sentence. As the night deepened, Emily found herself lost in a world of her own creation. With a cup of tea by her side and the soft glow of candlelight illuminating the room, she immersed herself in her craft. The characters she had struggled to breathe life into now sprang to life, their voices ringing clear in her mind. Time seemed to lose all meaning as Emily wrote, her pen gliding across the paper with purpose. The flickering candlelight cast dancing shadows on her notebook, adding an ethereal quality to her writing process. The silence of the room was broken only by the scratching of Emily's pen on paper. She had switched from typing to writing by hand, feeling a deeper connection to her words as they flowed from her mind to the page. Each stroke of the pen felt like a brushstroke on a canvas, bringing her story to life in vivid detail. Emily lost track of how many pages she filled, how many words spilled onto the paper. She wrote until her hand ached and her eyes grew heavy with exhaustion. But she couldn't stop. The words poured out of her like a river, carrying her away on a current of inspiration. Finally, as the last candle burned low, Emily set down her pen. She gazed at the pages before her, a sense of satisfaction washing over her. The room was filled with the scent of ink and candle wax, a tangible reminder of the creative energy that had filled the space. As Emily took a break from writing, she heard a soft knock on her door. Mrs. Jenkins entered, a warm smile playing on her lips. In her hands, she carried a tray adorned with a slice of freshly baked cake. "I thought you might need a little something to keep your creative juices flowing," Mrs. Jenkins said, her eyes twinkling with kindness. Emily's heart swelled with gratitude as she accepted the slice of delight. The warm, sweet treat melted in her mouth, filling her with contentment and further fueling her creative spirit. The flavors danced on her taste buds, each bite a burst of inspiration. The cake seemed to be infused with the essence of London itself, its rich history in vibrant energy. Emily savored each mouthful, relishing in the moment of pure bliss. "Thank you, Mrs. Jenkins," Emily said, her voice filled with appreciation. "This is just what I needed." Mrs. Jenkins smiled and nodded. "It's my pleasure, dear. Creativity needs nourishment, both for the mind and the soul." Emily couldn't help but feel a sense of warmth and comfort in Mrs. Jenkins' presence. It was as if the innkeeper understood not only the needs of her guests but also their deepest desires and aspirations. The next morning, Emily woke up refreshed and eager to continue her exploration of London. She decided to take a leisurely stroll through the neighborhood, hoping to stumble upon hidden gems that would inspire her further. As she meandered down a quiet side street, something caught her eye. Tucked away between two buildings stood a small bookstore, its sign weathered but still readable. Curiosity piqued, Emily pushed open the creaky door and stepped inside. The scent of old books enveloped her, transporting her to a world of literary wonders. The shelves were filled with volumes of all shapes and sizes, their spines worn with love and countless readings. Emily felt a sense of belonging wash over her, as if she had entered a sanctuary for kindred spirits. She ran her fingers along the spines, feeling the stories come alive beneath her touch. Each book seemed to hold a secret waiting to be discovered. Emily lost herself in the labyrinth of literature, exploring the nooks and crannies of the store. Lost in the sea of books, Emily was startled by a voice behind her. "Ah, another lover of literature," said a man with tousled brown hair and glasses perched on the bridge of his nose. "Welcome to the book nook." Emily smiled, feeling an instant connection with the eccentric bookseller named James. His eyes sparkled with a shared passion for the written word, and his enthusiasm was infectious. They engaged in a lively conversation about their favorite authors and the power of storytelling. James regaled her with stories about London's literary history, from the works of Shakespeare to the Bloomsbury Group. Emily hung on to his every word, her imagination ignited by the tales he spun. The hours slipped away as they delved deeper into their shared love for literature. They discussed their favorite passages, debated the merits of different writing styles, and even recited poetry to each other. Emily felt a sense of kinship with James, as if they were kindred spirits brought together by their mutual adoration for books. As Emily and James continued their conversation, they stumbled upon an old book that seemed to emit a mysterious aura. Its leather-bound cover was weathered and faded, its pages yellowed with age. Intrigued, they opened it to find handwritten notes scrawled in elegant script. Curiosity getting the better of them, Emily and James began to read aloud from the book. Instantly, they were transported to different eras of London's past, experiencing historical events firsthand. They witnessed the Great Fire of London, feeling the heat and chaos as flames consumed the city. They stood in awe as Shakespeare performed on the stage of the Globe Theatre, his words weaving a spell over the audience. They even found themselves in the midst of suffragette protests, feeling the passion and determination of women fighting for their rights. The words on the page seemed to come alive, enveloping Emily and James in a world beyond their own. They marveled at the power of storytelling, realizing that books held the key to unlocking not only their imaginations but also the secrets of the past. Through their magical journey, Emily and James gained a deeper understanding of London's history and its impact on the city's literature. They saw firsthand the resilience and creativity of the writers who came before them, their words echoing through the centuries. Inspired by their experiences, Emily felt a renewed sense of purpose. She realized that her struggles were not unique, that every writer faced obstacles on their creative journey. But it was in these challenges that true inspiration could be found. She resolved to embrace the lessons she had learned, to channel the strength and determination of the writers who had paved the way for her. London had become more than just a city, it was now a muse, a source of endless inspiration. After their time-traveling adventure, Emily and James returned to the present day, their hearts full of wonder and newfound inspiration. They bid farewell, promising to meet again soon. Emily walked back to the Rosewood Inn, her mind buzzing with ideas and stories waiting to be told. She felt a renewed sense of purpose, a fire burning within her that could not be extinguished. As she entered her cozy room once more, Emily couldn't help but feel a sense of gratitude for the journey she had embarked upon. London had given her the gift of inspiration, and she would carry it with her wherever she went. Back at the cozy bed and breakfast, Emily sat by the fireplace, reflecting on the magical evening she had shared with James. She cherished the memories they had created together, grateful for the simplicity and beauty of the experience. As she stared into the crackling flames, Emily knew that her journey was far from over. London had given her the gift of inspiration, and she would carry it with her wherever she went. With renewed determination, she continued her writing journey, embracing the inspiration she had found in the city that had captured her heart.